So I stumbled across this video the other day, and it's called "The White Tax Being Implemented in Asheville, North Carolina." And I was like, what does that mean? And I was like, what? I do remember North Carolina, like Asheville, from somewhere, right? And I remember that Asheville is that one place in North Carolina that implemented a reparations policy. It was a policy to help like black people get housing, and they get business vouchers, things like that. It stopped short of like direct payments to black people, but black people in the city ordinance does do get like a form of like reparations, and they also formally apologize for their role in slavery. The city of Asheville, and this person made a whole video on it. They called it the white tax, which is always I always thought it was a really weird way to frame a reparations policy. But I think it's just like this really big rhetorical tool that the right uses to try to get them to make a reparations sound super scary and anti-white PC culture, destroying Western civilization, importing I don't know, giving money to the brown for being big brown or something. I don't know, but I guess we can just see what this person has to say. I know it's not going to be anything smart, so let's bust it out as fast as possible. We're hopping on 1.25 speed as quick as possible. Yeah, they massive Days Vault cringe in the background. Wait, what is this? They have books on the war against the family. Oh, she has Tucker Carlson's book Ship of Fools. I should have seen it coming. I knew exactly. This is massive fashy vibes. The Crusades, Ship of Fools, Death of the West. Yep. Okay, I know exactly. You can't see it, but behind my my screen, it's a book on the table. It says Death of the West. Okay. Yeah, we know exactly what type of person this is. Let's go.
The city of Asheville, North Carolina, seems to be the first American city to be woke enough to say yes to reparations, otherwise known as the white tax.
I don't know. What do you mean otherwise known as? Who's that? Who knows reparations as the white tax? I always thought it was super weird to frame reparations in the form of it being like just from white people. It's like they implemented a policy that says, yes, 0.4% of every white man's check shall now be going to his local his local black. And he will now be enjoying the fruits of your labor. No, it doesn't. No, that's not how this works. But let's see what else they have to say. 11 seconds in, I'm already cringing.
Instead of giving simply a check or an actual more direct handout to all of the black residents of Asheville, instead what this council decided to do was give black people preferential treatment in housing, businesses, etc. Give them all special bonuses. Now, obviously this is an incredibly racist policy.
Wait, okay, stop. This is the person. I know for a fact. Oh, also, oh no. Listen, okay. So, step one? All right. I know this is the type of person who thinks like affirmative action is racist because like black people, because they're choosing people based on their race and not a true meritocracy. For one, there's no such thing as a true meritocracy. Every system that's created by people has the biases of people put into it. All right. No matter what system, it has the biases of the people who go through it, has the biases of the people who maintain it, and it had the biases of the people who made it originally, baked into it. So nothing is ever going to be a true meritocracy. Also, you're right, cats. I'm so tired. I'm sick and tired. I'm so mad. I'm so sick and tired of three-head Brit bongers. All right. Always talking about American politics. Get your hand out of my pot. OK, we separated from you in 1776. Leave us alone. All right. Britain be making content on the U.S. On U.S. politics like a crazy ex-girlfriend be calling be calling you in the middle of the night. Just crazy. Just leave us alone. All right. Leave us alone. But they won't stop. But no, for one, not a white tax. Everybody pays taxes, and then some of those taxes go towards these reparations. And two, this is just ridiculous. But let's see.
But just think about the irony of this. They're creating a system of economic slavery based on race. Because
economic slavery? Dude, okay. conservatives, they just throw the word around, they just throw slavery around. Okay, there's, you know how a bunch of conservatives say that like the left throws the word racism around, the right throws slavery around like it's freaking hotcakes. Okay, they just throw it around like it's your rock hard cum sock across the room when your mom walks in. Just throw it to instantly get behind your bed, just get it away from you, it just as quick as possible. All right, slavery is such a strong word. I feel like it's just like, it just means nothing to these people anymore. I just don't know. It's such a strong word, like literal the disenfranchisement of people from their from all forms of human from human rights is just like incredible. But they love to throw the word slavery around at any time they get.
Because what you're doing is you're giving the product of someone else's labor to someone who didn't earn it, and doing so on the basis of race.
Wait, okay, for one, we do this for lots of things. We just what? For one, this is just like any sort of like a government policy that helps like the poor, or like just snaps. Ever heard of snaps? Ever heard of CHIP? Ever heard of like Medicare and Medicaid? Like, what are you talking about? We give out the products of other people's labor to other people all the time. And also, one thing that I'd like to say here, okay, is that it's not your money. It's the government's money. You didn't earn that money. It's the government's money. They gave it to you. You borrowed the money, and they take the money back in taxes, okay? That's how this works. The government prints as much money as they want, and they give out as much money as they want. They control they control the entire system. There's a reason why you can't burn a dollar. I don't know how it is in freaking Britland with all your silver currency or whatever, but like it's not your money. It's the government's money. There's a reason why you can't burn money. There's a reason why you can't smelt your pence down to make a gold chastity belt or whatever you want, whatever you do in like in British land. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. It's not your money.
So you're taking from, let's just say, some poor white person, for example, who pays taxes, and giving to somebody else who didn't earn it, who simply was black.
Yeah, was black, okay, and also suffered, who also's family suffered under Jim Crow, whose family suffered under slavery, whose family got redlined, whose family got, like historically disenfranchised for the entire existence of this nation. And that poor white person probably doesn't pay that much in taxes because we don't want to tax that poor person. Well, at least in blue states, we don't tax them that much. But in red states, they probably tax the shit out of poor people. They don't give a shit. But in like better states, that poor person would actually be taking more in taxes than they would be giving, hopefully, to make sure that they can get back ahead. And that's, I don't know. I don't know what the difference is between like, when it comes to like poverty in this country, you're just as easily born poor and will stay poor just as much as you're born black and will stay black in this country. Where it's getting close to with wealth disparity in this country, it's getting close to the same amount of people who are born black and stay black, or just about the same amount of people who are born poor and stay poor in this country. I'm sorry.
Like I said, it's a system of economic slavery. Of course, all slavery is economic to some degree, but the irony there is palpable. And really, if you count this as being reparations, as the city of Asheville does, then how is that different from any of the other programs around the country that have been doing this for decades?
Wait, there is no difference. The only thing is we're stacking one on top for this special group of people who faced special like problems in their history. We want them to succeed, and they need, just like poor people, a special sort of system put in place to help them succeed. All right? Yes. And I'm not, and like, I don't even know what is this person like against like the reparations Germany paid to Jewish people? Is this person against like the reparations we paid to what is it? We paid to Japanese people when they were in the internment camps? Is that any different? There's a reason why people in Israel are all driving BMWs. Germany only got done paying their reparations for World War II back when back in 2008. Okay, so probably is. Yeah, probably. Wouldn't doubt it. She's probably for any sort of she's probably against any sort of welfare anyways. Like, can you believe that are enacting slavery on the rich people, taking the work from hard-working Brits and giving it to the swarthy masses yearning for your paycheck with no work put in for themselves. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the slavery? Okay.
Different, programs designed to help minorities, as they're often called. Like, we've had 50 years of affirmative action. Does that count as reparations? It certainly counts as racist, I would say.
Yeah, okay, nice one. Does it count as reparations? I mean, maybe if you want to count it like that. There's a reason why Bernie Sanders on the debate stage, every time the question of reparations came up, was always like, "What do you mean by reparations? Like, what do you mean?" Some people mean direct payments. Some people mean certain initiatives, like in the vein of affirmative action. Some people mean that. Some people mean business vouchers. Some people mean like certain policies that may like pull back some policing in this way, or some special community policing or something like that, or the plethora, billions of things that people can mean when they say reparations in this massive vein that's far away from just giving people 2 acres and a mule,
Let's take a quick look at this resolution briefly. It says, and I quote, "The resulting budgetary and programmatic priorities may include but not be limited to increasing minority home ownership and access to other affordable housing, increasing minority business ownership and career opportunities, strategies to grow equity and generational wealth, etc."
Wait, okay, so this is extremely broad and extremely vague. And I know it's extremely broad and vague, for one, because it just says increasing minority home ownership and access to other affordable housing. Just increasing access to affordable housing. And this is the white tax. This helping one group of people get access to live in homes is now the white tax. Incredible, dude. It's wild to me. They think like the city of Asheville is going to start beating down people's windows and start taking their fine china and selling it on Facebook to give to your local homeless black dude. Sounds great. It does sound great. It sounds cool. Yeah, and she reads it in this like disgusting tone. Just help black people, it's not even black people, it's just minorities. So I'm not even sure if this would apply to some Asian people too. Statistically need housing and need this sort of help a lot less than black people do. This just says minority home ownership. This is just, I don't even know what this means. And I bet they don't even know either. So it's extremely vague. Preposterous giving black people a home. Can you imagine?
I'm not going to read the whole thing. You get the idea. All right. So, when you give a housing deal, because they talked about housing right there, to someone on the basis of his race, what are you really doing?
Giving them access to more housing, I guess, with the well, not even necessarily the basis of their race. Race is included in the action of giving, I don't know, grants to help them get a home. That's what they're doing, but this person may have a different view.
You're admitting that you're denying that same affordable housing to someone else who is more deserving or more in need.
More deserving or more in need? Well, statistically, black people are more in need than white people, but I'm not sure that we should like base every decision like on that. And there's a reason why they just said increase home ownership for minorities, because I bet what they really mean is just like help them get grants, provide like CHIP or something. Just provide like CHIP, or SNAP. It's just like really simple things. It's just like based on this group of people who look this way, because most likely their family came from a disadvantaged point. And they started behind the 8 ball for no fault of their own. So we should give them help. Same thing should be done with poor white people too. I think there's lots of poor white people out there that could use some help. But if we're going to be working on statistics and we have to make these sort of like calculations from a massive like legislative standpoint, on average, a black person would need more help. So this isn't taking homes away. The poor white person should also get a home. Like, what are you talking about? Just the poor black person is probably more in need if we're going to be talking about this, just statistically.
So you've got the poor white person, let's say, who
also she acts like you go to like a rent controlled housing unit and like the police officer, James Schumacher, is that you? and the disheveled poor white person walks out in the shirt that they haven't been able to wash in 5 days because they don't have enough money. Goes, yes, officer. And he's like, out, whitey. And then a black family just like walks in and steps over all of his stuff. Like that's not happening.
Would qualify otherwise for affordable housing because he's poorer than the black person who's been given the house.
Hot take. Both of them should get houses.
That's so obviously morally wrong, and it's overt racism. It's, you can't have this house despite how poor you are, despite whatever obstacles you've overcome, because you're white and for nothing else. For no other reason. It's solely on the basis of race. I thought we had all kind of accepted that this was wrong, but apparently not. And it's the same thing when you're talking about business opportunities or career opportunities. When you say you, of the right race, in this case, the blacks.
Of the right race. Yeah, maybe housing should be a human right. How about we give everyone a house? Okay? How about that? That would be sick. And maybe if that was the case, maybe we wouldn't even have to do the whole housing thing. Maybe the business ownership grants, that would be cool. But
white
yeah.
And for nothing else. For no other reason. It's solely on the basis of race. I thought we had all kind of accepted that this was wrong, but apparently not.
Well, I always thought that a systemic racism was a fact of the world, and we accepted that this was wrong. But I was very much wrong when I loaded up my computer and went on the internet and heard a bunch of conservatives squawking about how systemic racism isn't real anymore. There's no laws on the books putting black people down. Just pull themselves up by their bootstrap. Why they shoot each other? Apparently they don't understand it. So we have to use these hard-hitting measures to try and get these things through, because conservatives just completely deny factual reality and historical precedent. They just don't care.
Not. And it's the same thing when you're talking about business opportunities or career opportunities. When you say you, of the right race, in this case the blacks, have access to this position that you haven't earned in some other way on the basis of your race, you're denying.
What do you mean haven't earned? Still, the reason why affirmative action, conservatives at this person, they probably has no clue about anything about American politics. This is why I hate Britbongers talking about our systems. But affirmative action went to the Supreme Court at least once, maybe even a couple times. I'm quite sure. So they went there, and what happened? The conservatives lost, because still, no matter what, the most qualified people will always get in. No, even with affirmative action still going, most qualified people will still always get in. This always happens, okay? Maybe there are some fringe cases every once in a while where some person of this predilection gets in over this person's predilection for the basis of race when they're equally skilled. But for the most part, if you're the most qualified person, you're gonna get the spot.
It to somebody of any other race who is more qualified or more deserving for some other reason.
That just doesn't happen, but okay.
And then you look at the city of Asheville. It's a place for the Democrat mayor. I know you didn't see that coming, right? You're just blown away. Okay, yeah. So it's got a Democrat.
What's that supposed to mean? Just blown away. Bet you didn't see that one coming. What's that even supposed to mean? Were we thinking that it was supposed to be a Republican mayor or something, or would this not happen with a Republican mayor? You'd be right. I would expect that this wouldn't happen under a Republican mayor. You're right. They don't care about minorities. Yeah, they're Republicans.
Democrat mayor. But you look at the local news, and this is just from a month ago. It turns out that they don't know how to manage their money. I know it's shocking, right? So it's
shock. Asheville looks at a $134.6 million general fund budget next year.
It says right here in the local news, it says, Asheville's chief financial officer, Barbara Whitehorn, said there is significant revenue loss, including a 30% decrease in sales tax in April and a $500,000 loss in parking fees each month. And these articles about Asheville's money go on and on.
Wait. Okay, guys, chill. Wait a second. Okay, so listen, all right? I know this is going to be a massive shocker to all of you, okay? Because it was to this person, apparently. So, small city in North Carolina, during the worst pandemic in 100 years, where people are staying inside, where people are getting sick and in the hospital, where sales have gone down dramatically, especially for brick and mortar stores, believe it or not. But this city is having problems raising funds. Who could have seen this coming? Who could have seen this? Not I. Oh, not I. And we always know that the beautiful red states right now are flushed with cash. They're just, wow, just money raining from the ceilings. The Republicans in red states they're just stockpiling money to use as a fire. They're just burning money because I don't have any place to keep all my money. It feels so good to be a Republican. Yeah, Republican states are doing so good right now, I bet. Yeah, okay. All right, buddy. Yeah, it's not like every state, it's not like every city in every state right now is having budgetary problems because of the virus. Yeah, maybe that has something to do with it. Yeah, who knew? Who knew that they had a money management problem with sales taxes plummeting overnight?
And it turns out they just can't manage other people's money.
Wait, man. See, manage other people's money. I know for a fact she's about to say the problem with socialism is that you just run out of other people's money. Like it's taxes. It's the government's money. It's not your money. It's the government's money. They printed it. They made it. They gave it to you. They take it back. That's how this works. It's people act as if money is like something that they personally own. It's not. You borrow it. That's how our society works. You borrow money. You don't keep it. It's number go in, number go out. Okay, that's how this works. And it's just like kind of ridiculous. Yeah, and focus on your own government, three head. What the heck?
That's the thing with like socialism and communism, right? I think it was Margaret Thatcher who said you eventually run out of other people's money.
He don't miss. He don't miss. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful small city during a pandemic has problems with their budget next year. Guess at some point you just run out of using other people's money. Okay, dude. Wow, this is brain dead. I thought for all that noggin there'd be some brain like hiding behind there, but apparently not.
But these programs that they're trying to push forward, as they call it, reparations, such as housing for black people, well, that's exceedingly expensive, much more than regular welfare. You're talking houses. I mean, that's serious expense.
Yeah, affordable housing can be a little expensive, but you know what's more important than just like looking at cash in, cash out? The prosperity of the people under your government. And that's more important. And the prime thing to do with affordable housing is get people out of it so they can go into regular housing. That'd be great. There's always going to be poor people, sadly, but getting as less poor people there as possible would be great. Getting people up on their feet. Nobody wants to be poor, and nobody really wants poor people around, for many reasons. But that'd be good. That's the whole thing, is making sure that they can pull themselves up by their bootstraps. It's so funny how conservatives always talk about pulling yourselves up by your bootstraps, but sometimes someone needs a hand to get up. And then they stay down because they can't get themselves up, and then they go, why aren't you getting up? Why aren't you getting up? And they talk about how anyone can succeed. And I mean, technically, yeah, any random person can succeed, but they want to have everyone be exceptional, but not everyone can be exceptional, just like by virtue of the word. And statistically, not everybody can be exceptional, because to be exceptional, you have to be the exception. You have to be the exception to the rule. You have to be in the minority. And so what are we going to do with the majority of people there? We have to help them get up. And these people, they're just so against it that their ideology is completely nonsensical.
But the city is running out of money, and what's the priority? Reparations.
What's the priority? Getting poor people to not be poor. Incredible. Wow.
That's the priority. I mean, seriously, talk about like Democrat priorities right there. So they're going to spend more money.
Wait, what other priority? Wait, what should they do? Like not spend any money whatsoever? Just completely remove all like housing grants, completely remove all like poverty assistance and everything, like food stamps? What is that what we should be doing? Just like be completely closed-fisted in this time of need where where like 30% of Americans had to like miss out on getting something to eat because they didn't have enough for food, where 40% of Americans soon are at risk of being evicted, and this is the time to be closed-fisted? Really? Crazy.
Than they have since they're already, basically out, and be racist about it against white people because, white lives apparently don't matter. So
what do you mean? Give them houses too. I don't get it. Like I think this is about it of the video that I can take. I'm tired of looking at this person's face. Okay, listen. All right. This is the prime example of when equality comes to the people in power, it looks like oppression. This is what I'm talking about. Give people a leg up and they're act like, well, where's mine? You're already ahead, bud. Don't worry about it. You're gonna be perfectly fine. But they don't care. They just want to maintain the power, and watching anybody else get their own is going to be like watching someone rip something away from you that you never had. Amazing. Incredible.